Okay, here we are, fresh in Dreamweaver. Let's go import our site. Let's, in other words, tell Dreamweaver where that site is going to live. I'm going to come right over here to my Files panel on the right-hand side, and I'm going to drop down this little drop list here, come down to the bottom and target Manage the Sites. Now, I want to add a brand new site or make a new one. I'm going to click bottom right-hand corner. I'm going to target New Site. This is going to be called Responsive 2020. I'm going to go ahead and rename it now. And I'm going to tell it where that local folder is. And we know where it is. It's on our websites. There is the Responsive 2020. Click on that folder and select that folder. It's there. Let's go tell it where the Images folder is. Drop down on the Advanced Settings on the left-hand side. Target Local Information. And right up here, Default Images folder. Right there, I'm going to go click on the little folder symbol on the right-hand side. And there's my Images folder. I'm going to target that and select that folder. Next, I'm going to target Save. There it is. It's listed under my Manage Sites dialog box. Now it knows that's where we're going to be. When I click it, there it is. Okay, I'm going to drop this down. It also had a tendency to put another Images folder in there, but that's okay. All right, so let's create a new document. File menu, top left-hand corner, New. And you're going to see a couple options here. We got None and we've got Bootstrap. Now what we're going to do is we're going to stay on None, and we're also going to stay with the HTML. And then we're just going to click Create. Everything else is going to stay the same. HTML, target None, and target Create. Okay, now I have a folder. So the first thing I would like to do is put in here, something where I can start storing my images in. In other words, if you look on your bottom right-hand side, you have what's called a DOM, D-O-M. This works like layers in Photoshop, right? So everything is going to be layered on top of each other, and I can move them around and place, website content on top or on the bottom or below, wherever I want, depending on where I position these tags. So my first thought is, okay, let's start with our banner. Okay, I'm going to come right on over to the right hand side, and I'm going to target the Insert tab. Under the drop down menu here, we have several different options you're going to notice. Form and Bootstrap and Query Mobile and stuff like that. We're gonna stick with the HTML. And I'm going to go over to the Div tab, and I'm going to target the Div tab. And what that does is it puts in what I explained is works kind of like layers, right? Immediately a Div tab comes right down here. You can see it on your DOM. Immediately shows up. Okay, I'm going to go to the Div tab, target it, and I'm going to name it. I'm going to call this one Box Number 1. And hit Enter. And then I'm going to define. This is going to be my this up here is going to be my CSS options. All right. For now, we're going to define it in page. All right. On the right hand side under the DOM, you see the box. If I click it, it highlights. Okay. All right. So next, I want to put an image inside here. I'm going to go to Insert, go to the HTML, drop it down. This time, I'm going to target the Bootstrap components. And I'm going to target right down here what's called a responsive image. This is going to allow my image to resize as we start to play with the size of our web browser. So I'm going to click it, And now it's going to ask me, what do I want to do with this image? Do I want to nest it inside of this division tag that we created? Or do I want to place it after it or before it? I want to nest it inside. And it puts an image marker inside for me already. Content for new div tag goes here. I don't need that. That's a little text that Adobe puts in there, so I'm going to delete it out, because this is going to represent my complete banner. Now, I'm going to click on the image placeholder. Come right up here to the top left-hand corner where you see the hamburger, which is basically those 3 lines, kind of known as a hamburger. Click it, and I'm going to go get the image. So now let me make one quick little modification, in that I want to ensure that those images are exactly where they should be, because we put it in a second folder. So let's bring over Bridge. And if we see inside this folder under Responsive 2020, it's under the first images folder there. And this second images folder is what Dreamweaver designated for its file. So it doesn't really matter. As long as the program knows that the location where we drag these images from and it stays connected to it, that's all that matters. And once we connect these to this website, it will know it's in that first images folder that we created. So in essence, I'm going to go ahead and just delete this folder inside here. Okay, so we can work with the one. So there are all my images. All right, so let's go back into Dreamweaver. Let's click on the hamburger. Target that source folder again on the right hand side. There they are, responsive images. There they all are. I'm going to come right up here and tell it to show it in extra large view. Makes it a lot easier for me to see. And there is my banner right there, the very top one. I'm going to double click it. And there it is. It's that simple. Okay, so we put in the division tag first, which shows up right down here in the bottom. We renamed it Box 1. We're going to be doing a lot more of these tags, so it's going to be the same process over and over and over again. Now I can preview it. Now currently I'm viewing it live, so if I take the slider and move it over, we can see that this is resizing accordingly. Okay, so that's working exactly the way we need it to work. All right, now we want to resize these according to 3 devices, right? Now, if we go back into Photoshop here and we take a look at what we've done, we designed our websites according to a desktop, an iPad, and a cell phone. So what I want to do is set Dreamweaver up to accommodate these 3 formats particularly. In essence, it's going to be able to accommodate any format that we like, but particularly we want our website to look good on particular sizes. Now, I'm thinking my web page is having a maximum of 1200 pixels, the iPad of 800 pixels, and a cell phone of 380 pixels, so somewhere around there, wide, that is. All right, so I'm going to go back into Dreamweaver. All right, so what you're looking at the top here is some pre-made what's called Bootstrap, where we have several different options to design for. A website that's 575 pixels wide, or 776 pixels wide, or 991. It has 4 of these up here, but we really want to just focus on 3. Now, I want to think about applying some cascading style sheets to this. So what a style sheet is basically a text-based information to tell the website the size of your fonts, the color of your background, the color of your fonts, all of that stuff. Okay? So it works like a little sidecar representation to interact with your website to uphold its style. And right over here to the top right, I have the CSS Designer. Now, all of these tabs here, over here that you see on the right-hand side are all listed under the Windows menu, right here. Let's not forget that. So, CSS, DOM, Properties, and so forth. So, I'm going to create a new style sheet for this defined site. So, if I hit the little plus symbol here, create a new style sheet, I think what I will do is I'll call it main, right? And then what I'll do next is click OK. Okay. So all right. So at the top in the CSS Designer, you see my main CSS. All right. So I'm going to start to define this for several viewings for the iPhone, your iPad, as well as your desktop. Okay, I'm going to do that here. So I'm in live view, and that's important. Need to be in live view for this. If I go to design view, I have other options for designing my website, but to decide the dimensions to view my website on, we're going to go to live so that we can see all this happen in real time. So the first one, I'm going to hit this little plus here. All right, I'm going to come right over here, hit the little plus. And the first one I'm going to design for my smallest one first, which is going to be about 375 or 380. I tell you what, I'm going to go 380. I'm going to make it about that, 380 pixels. And I'm going to target the minimum, the min dash max width. It's asking me if I want to create a new CSS file. No, I want to use the one I've already created called main. And all of our style specifications is going to go into that main site or page. And all it is a text-based page. And I'm going to click OK. Now, just to prove to you that the Cascading Style Sheets is a text-based page, here it is right up here on the top of your menu. It's saying I'm using the main.css. And if I click on it, it shows it right down here at the bottom. All right, so I've just defined a mobile CSS at 380 pixels. Okay, I don't need to really view it, but I'll come back, just be aware that it's there. All right, now I'm going to go back to live view instead of split view. Split view allows me to see the code as well. I'm going to go back to live view. And I'm going to decide, now what I'm going to decide to do is that for this phone, I'm going to target this, and everything below 380 and up, this is what it's going to look like. All right, so I'm going to come back and create another one. So right here, I'm going to click that little plus there. And the next one, I want a minimum and max width. So min. So my minimum is going to be 381, 1 pixel past the max of the smaller one. So 381. And the max is going to be 800. Using the main.css and click OK. You can see right there, now I created a blue one. All right, so what I'm going to do next is click on the plus again and create one more, minimum max width. And this one's going to be 801. just 1 point above the iPad. And then this one is going to go all the way to, let's say, 1600. Because most of us are viewing on monitors way beyond 1600. And there they are. Okay. Okay, so I can get my slider. And there we go. All right. So if I drop this down a little bit, 1600 is right about there. It ends right there. Okay, so we can see that I have some room to move. Okay, so let's kind of drop it down a little bit. And there we go. There we go. So we can see it full screen. So there we go. So now we've defined 3 separate layouts. Okay, so we've got the 380 here, we've got the 800, and which is right about there, that little light blue area, and then we also have full screen for our monitor. All right, now inside of this, I want to make sure everything's going to be centered. So I want to go into the page, make some modifications, and also make modifications to our, right over here, to our Bootstrap. So our Bootstrap representing our various sizes that we're designing for.